Time for our special Friday feature. I'm Suzanne Leonard. Glad you could join us. April the 3rd, and as the weather gets warmer, well, more and more good reason to be outdoors, enjoying the fresh air and enjoying the night sky. Right, night sky guy?
Hi, Suzanne. That's right.
Special weekend coming up, 100 hours of astronomy, a big celebration. We'll get to that in just a moment. We always like to start off with a little bit of stargazing tips, and you always make it accessible for people that might just be starting off in astronomy.
Well, that's it. We want to specialize on stuff that anyone can see. And here's something I think is really unique. It's coming tonight and tomorrow. So if you get clouded out tonight, definitely try this tomorrow or vice versa. It's the moon, and it seems like the moon is going to be buzzing the beehive this weekend. And the beehive, in this case we're talking about, is a star cluster. And we've got our star chart set up for this evening around 10 o'clock, looking towards the western horizon. And you'll see the beautiful near quarter moon, and right sort of the upper left of the moon will be this fuzzy patch of light. Now, because of the glare of the moon, you might want to bring out a pair of binoculars and just look at that fuzzy patch, and it's a beautiful clustering of over 100 stars.
How far away would that be, Andrew?
Well, this is what's really neat, is that cluster is 600 light years away. And here we have our next chart, by the way, showing tomorrow night, Saturday night, and a little zoomed-up version of what you would see through a pair of binoculars. It's a clustering of stars, 600 light years away, and what's really neat is that Galileo actually saw this cluster through his primitive telescope, that first telescope ever used to look up at the heavens. This was one of the first objects that he saw 400 years ago this year.
That's very neat. We talked about the Galileo anniversary not too long ago. I wonder what he would think of all the celebrations that are going on this weekend, because it really is a rather unprecedented event in science, a big international celebration, if you will.
It definitely is, and this is what we're talking about, space news now, is we've got basically a whole slew of events happening clustered this weekend. And we're celebrating International Year of Astronomy all year long in 2009, but this weekend is a 100 Hours of Astronomy event. This is probably turning out to be the largest public outreach science event ever attempted. Over 1 million people are expected to participate in 1,500 events across the world. Over 130 countries are participating, Canada included. And the highlight of this event is something called Around the World in 80 Telescopes. This is a live webcast from observatories around the globe. And we're talking the largest observatories on Mauna Kea, like the Keck Telescope, the Gemini, in Hawaii, in Arizona, in the Andes in Chile.
Is that Hawaii right there, the Mauna Kea?
This is on top of Mauna Kea. The two Keck telescopes, they're 10 meters across mirrors that are inside these telescopes. And for actually starting right now, today and into Saturday morning, you can basically go on your computer, on the internet, and see a live webcast of what the astronomers are doing. I call this sort of the ultimate reality show for space buffs.
Yeah, it's going to be a long event. You said 100 hours. Does that mean there will actually be 100 hours of continuous stream online that you can watch?
There's basically, yes, and 100 hours of activity. So there's actually stuff happening in your local neck of the woods, all kinds of activities across Canada. And there's just too many to mention, but here's a couple that are happening. I've posted here for us, is today and tomorrow in Montreal, at the Montreal Planetarium, they're hooking up live with the Mont Megantic Observatory in the Eastern Townships from 9 till midnight. And anyone can basically request the astronomer to point the telescope wherever you like, Jupiter or Saturn or maybe a far-off galaxy.
Neat. So viewing on request, certainly something you can't do with your binoculars is spot all of these things. What are you particularly excited about checking out this weekend?
Well, definitely being able to take a peek over the shoulders of astronomers at some of these big telescopes. I'm really keen on seeing what they're looking at.
Wonderful. Andrew, thanks so much for the tips.
You bet.
Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again next Friday. So look for that fuzzy patch near the moon. Check out your local forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Of course, Andrew's with us every Friday. TheNightSkyGuy.com, The Moon and the Beehive, 10 p.m. towards the west Friday, Saturday, and 100hoursofastronomy.org on the web.